A kindergarten teacher's shocking double life culminated in a grisly murder that stunned the community. This is the story of David Dane, whose secret life ended in his tragic death. David Dane, a 48-year-old kindergarten teacher, lived in Tampa, Florida. He worked at Sunny Days Kindergarten for 25 years and was beloved by his students and their parents. David was known for his engaging teaching style and charismatic personality. He lived with his wife, Jennifer, and their 2 teenage children, Emily and Jacob. The Dane family was active in their church and frequently participated in community events. David had always aspired to be a teacher, despite being in a predominantly female field, and he was deeply passionate about his work. His classroom was decorated with vibrant posters, educational toys, and books from popular series like Magic Treehouse and the Berenstain Bears. He often incorporated songs and games to make learning enjoyable for his students. Despite his professional success, David had a troubled personal life. He and Jennifer had been married for 20 years, but their relationship had become strained. Jennifer, a stay-at-home mom, grew suspicious of David's frequent absences and odd behavior. She often saw him texting late at night and leaving the house without explanation. In the days before his death, David's behavior became increasingly erratic. He missed family dinners and church events, citing important meetings as the reason. Jennifer grew increasingly frustrated, and their arguments became more frequent. Friends noticed that David seemed distracted and preoccupied. On the night before his death, David was seen leaving a local diner, the 4 Green Fields, where he had met with several individuals described as suspicious. Witnesses reported that David appeared nervous and agitated. On the morning of June 14, 2017, Carla Rodriguez, a fellow teacher at Sunny Days Kindergarten, arrived at the school early. It was around 7:30 a.m., and she was preparing for the day ahead. Carla noticed something unusual as she walked past the playground. David Dane's body was lying on the ground near the jungle gym. Shocked and terrified, Carla saw that his body was covered in blood, indicating something horrific had occurred. He had been shot, and his eyes were missing. With trembling hands, Carla immediately called 911. "There's been a murder at Sunny Days Kindergarten," she told the operator, trying to stay calm. News of the murder spread rapidly. Reporters from local media outlets like the Tampa Bay Times and television stations, such as WFLA News Channel 8, rushed to the scene. By 8 a.m., the kindergarten was surrounded by police cars and news vans. Carla, still in shock, managed to describe what she had seen to Detective Mercer. She explained that David had seemed fine the day before, despite acting a bit distracted recently. Carla couldn't believe that something so horrible had happened at their school. As police surveyed the playground, they observed blood spattered on the ground and the gruesome condition of David's body. It was a chilling sight, unmistakably a violent and deliberate act. The playground, usually a place of joy and laughter, was now a crime scene. The police established a perimeter around the kindergarten and initiated their investigation. They interviewed other teachers and staff members, searching for any clues that might explain what had happened. Parents arriving to drop off their children were turned away, and the school was closed for the day. News of the murder spread quickly throughout Tampa, leaving the community frightened and confused. People wondered who could have committed such a terrible crime. The discovery of David Dane's body marked the beginning of a complex and disturbing investigation. The police were determined to uncover the truth and bring the perpetrator to justice. Following Carla Rodriguez's 911 call on the morning of June 14, 2017, the police arrived swiftly at Sunny Days Kindergarten. By 8 a.m., Detective John Mercer and his team arrived at the scene. At 45 years old, Detective Mercer, known for his meticulous approach, took command right away. He directed officers to secure the playground and keep bystanders away. David Dane's body was found near the jungle gym, with blood spread across the ground and the playground equipment. David Dane had been shot twice with a 9mm gun, and his eyes had been gouged out with a knife. The brutality of the crime was shocking. Detective Mercer and his team began their investigation, meticulously examining the playground. They took photos, collected evidence, and discovered 2 9mm shell casings near the body. Forensic experts gathered DNA samples and collected fingerprints from the playground equipment. They also collected blood samples for analysis. The crime scene was chaotic. The playground, normally a place of joy and laughter, had become a scene of horror. The bright swings and slides stood in stark contrast to the grim reality of the murder. Detective Mercer observed the unsettling juxtaposition of the violence against the innocent setting. The police interviewed Carla Rodriguez, who had found the body. Carla recounted her shock and fear upon discovering David's body. She noted that, while David had seemed distracted recently, he had not shown any signs of fear or distress. Detective Mercer and his team interviewed other teachers and staff members, discovering that David, though well-liked, had recently displayed unusual behavior. He frequently stayed late at the school and had been seen with individuals who were neither staff nor parents. The investigation soon expanded beyond the school. Detectives visited David's home and spoke with his wife, Jennifer Dane. She revealed that their marriage had been under strain because of David's frequent absences and strange behavior. The police also examined David's phone and computer, uncovering numerous text messages and emails that suggested he was involved in activities beyond his teaching job. These communications hinted at secret meetings and potential illegal activities. The investigation at Sunny Days Kindergarten was conducted with great care and attention to detail. Detective Mercer and his team were resolute in uncovering the perpetrator and the motive behind the brutal murder. The playground, once a place of joy, had now become the focal point of a complex and unsettling investigation. The police turned their scrutiny toward Jennifer Dane, David's wife. At 39, Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom dedicated to their two teenage children, Emily and Jacob. Known for her active involvement in her church and community, she appeared to be the ideal wife and mother. Nonetheless, the police needed to investigate everyone close to David. Jennifer was brought in for questioning on June 15, 2017, the day after David's body was discovered. Detective John Mercer conducted the interrogation, focusing on her relationship with David and her activities on the night of the murder. Jennifer described their marriage as strained and admitted that David had been behaving unusually for months. He frequently came home late and offered excuses about meetings and work. Jennifer suspected David might be having an affair but had no concrete proof. Although she had these suspicions, she claimed ignorance about his involvement in any illicit activities. Throughout the interrogation, Jennifer remained composed. She answered questions clearly and showed no signs of panic, but her resentment toward David was apparent. She recounted their frequent arguments and expressed feeling neglected by him. Jennifer mentioned she had thought about hiring a private investigator to follow David but ultimately decided against it. The police investigated Jennifer's activities on the night of the murder and found that she had been at home with her children, a fact confirmed by Emily and Jacob. The family had dinner together and watched the Disney movie Moana. Despite their marital issues, Jennifer maintained that she had no motive to kill David. Detective Mercer and his team reviewed Jennifer's phone records and found no suspicious activity. There were no late-night calls or texts from Jennifer that suggested her involvement in the murder. Neighbors and friends who were interviewed described her as a loving mother and devoted church member, vouching for her character. Despite the absence of direct evidence linking Jennifer to the crime, her possible motive could not be overlooked. Jennifer had reasons to be upset and hurt by David's actions. Detective Mercer observed that while she appeared innocent, her calm demeanor might indicate she was concealing something. The investigation into Jennifer Dane left the police with more questions than answers. Although Jennifer had a potential motive, there was no concrete evidence linking her to the murder. The police recognized the need to keep investigating to uncover the truth. On June 16, 2017, just 2 days after David Dane's body was found, new evidence surfaced that would alter the course of the investigation. On a hot and oppressively humid day in Tampa, Florida, around 2 p.m., new evidence emerged that would shift the investigation. A maintenance worker, while cleaning the storage room at Sunny Days Kindergarten, stumbled upon a hidden camera concealed behind a stack of books. Alarmed and uncertain, he promptly contacted the police. Detectives arrived swiftly, carefully retrieved the camera, and brought it back to the station for further analysis. The camera contained shocking footage. It showed David Dane filming and participating in dozens of adult movies filmed in the kindergarten after hours. Even more disturbing, the footage revealed David forcing the kindergarten kids to fight each other in something he called Hunger Games Jr. The detectives were horrified. The detectives were stunned by the footage. The children appeared terrified and hurt as David threatened to withhold food to make them fight harder. Realizing the urgency of the situation, they knew they had to act quickly to protect the kids and identify any other people involved. Detective Mercer, known for his dedication and empathy, was deeply moved by what he saw. He committed himself to seeking justice for the victims. The police brought in a specialized team of forensic experts to thoroughly examine the footage. The forensic experts used advanced software to improve the video quality and identify those involved. Working tirelessly, they examined every detail closely. They discovered evidence of at least 25 different women in the videos engaging in sexual activities with David, including a woman named Lara Wachter. The police uncovered financial records revealing substantial sums of money being transferred into David's account from multiple sources. It was suspected that these funds came from bets placed on the children's fights. Detective Mercer, recognized for his analytical abilities, meticulously traced these transactions to their origins. The investigation uncovered several new leads, including individuals who had placed bets on the fights. Additionally, the police discovered a series of sexually explicit texts between David and Lara Wachter, revealing that David had been involved in an affair with her, aside from their participation in adult movies. This finding introduced a new dimension to the case and pointed to Lara as a potential new suspect. Following the discovery of the hidden camera footage, the police focused on Lara Wachter, one of the approximately 25 women David Dane had been sexually involved with. Lara, a 21-year-old barista at a local Starbucks, was known for her fiery and independent personality. On the hot and humid morning of June 17, 2017, detectives arrived at her apartment to question her. Lara was initially nervous but agreed to speak with the detectives. She revealed that she had first met David while filming an adult movie under the name Daisy Hyman, which was shot at the kindergarten where he worked. Lara described David as charming and persuasive, noting that he had a knack for convincing people to do what he wanted. Lara told the detectives that she had become increasingly frustrated with David. He had promised to leave his wife, Jennifer, for her, but he never did. Feeling betrayed and angry, Lara admitted that while she was aware of David's double life, she was too frightened to contact the police. She expressed concern for her own safety and claimed she had no knowledge of the children involved in the fight ring. Throughout the interrogation, Lara stayed calm but displayed signs of emotional distress. Lara provided additional details about the adult movies and the fight ring. She revealed that David was earning substantial amounts of money from these illegal activities and that several prominent community figures were involved. Lara named individuals who had placed bets on the children's fights, giving the police several new leads to pursue in their investigation. Lara's information was vital. It gave the detectives a clear picture of David's activities and the people involved. Detective Mercer, who was known for being compassionate, realized that Lara was also a victim. David had manipulated and used her, just like he did with the other women and children. Mercer promised Lara that the police would keep her safe if she helped them completely with their investigation. The detectives also looked at Lara's phone records and found many texts and calls between her and David. These messages backed up Lara's account of her relationship with David and his promises to leave his wife. Lara's help provided the police with crucial details, bringing them closer to revealing the full extent of David Dane's activities and those involved in his crimes. After their conversation with Lara Wachter, the detectives shifted their attention to Jordan Alarcon Perico. Jordan was a 24-year-old single father and construction worker who had recently moved to Tampa from Cuba. He was very worried after noticing strange bruises on his son's body. On June 18, 2017, at around 11 a.m., detectives Maria Lopes and John Harris visited Jordan at his construction site. It was another hot, sunny day in Tampa. Jordan was tough and protective, traits that had helped him survive the hardships of fleeing Cuba. When the detectives approached him, he was initially defensive, but agreed to speak when they explained the situation. Jordan told the detectives he became suspicious when his son, Nathaniel, who attended Sunny Hills Kindergarten, came home with bruises and a frightened expression. Nathaniel eventually admitted that he was forced to fight other children at school or he wouldn't be given food. Angry, Jordan confronted David Dane just days before Dane's murder. Jordan described David as arrogant and indifferent during their argument. In the interrogation, Jordan's anger was clear. He felt deeply let down by someone he had trusted with his child. Despite this, he denied any involvement in David's death. Jordan admitted to having confronted David but said he left when David threatened to involve the police. The detectives thoroughly checked Jordan's alibi for the time of David's murder. They reviewed Jordan's work records and talked to his co-workers, who confirmed that he was at the construction site when the murder happened. This alibi made it seem unlikely that Jordan was the killer. Detective Mercer, known for his strong intuition, believed that while Jordan's anger was real, It didn't suggest he was guilty. Jordan saw himself as a caring father trying to keep his son safe from harm. Detective Harris, who was detail-oriented, concentrated on checking Jordan's statements for any inconsistencies. The police also looked at Jordan's phone records and found no evidence of contact with David or anyone connected to the adult films or fight ring. This strengthened Jordan's claim that he wasn't involved in David's crimes. His information revealed more about the investigation, confirming the fight ring's existence and giving details about the abuse the children suffered. Although Jordan wasn't the killer, his account helped the detectives understand more about David Dane's hidden and troubling life. The detectives felt they were getting closer to uncovering the whole truth and seeking justice for the victims. On June 25, 2017, the police put together all the evidence and identified Jennifer Dane, David's wife, as the murderer. Jennifer was 39 years old and a dedicated stay-at-home mom to their 2 teenage children. She was involved in her church and frequently volunteered at local events. In many ways, she seemed to be the ideal person. However, her life took a dark turn when she discovered David's numerous affairs and his involvement in filming adult movies at the kindergarten where he worked. Jennifer's world shattered further when she found out about the underground fight ring where David forced the children he cared for to fight. Driven by anger and a sense of betrayal, Jennifer decided to end David's double life. Jennifer saw herself as a guardian, determined to protect the children from more harm. On the evening of June 30, 2017, she confronted David at the kindergarten playground and shot him twice with a 9mm gun. Fueled by anger and feeling betrayed, Jennifer chose to end David's deceitful actions, believing she was acting to safeguard the children. He was forced to fight other children at school, or he wouldn't get fed. Jordan believed he was a protective father trying to keep his son safe from further harm. Detective Harris, known for his detailed approach, concentrated on checking Jordan's statements for any inconsistencies. The police checked Jordan's phone records and found no contact with David or anyone connected to the adult movies or fight ring. This strengthened Jordan's claim of being uninvolved in David's criminal activities. His information also provided new insights for the investigation. It verified the fight ring's existence and offered details about the abuse the children faced. Although Jordan wasn't the killer, his story helped the detectives better understand David Dane's hidden and troubling life. The detectives felt they were moving closer to uncovering the full truth and seeking justice for the victims. On June 25, 2017, the police assembled all the evidence and determined that Jennifer Dane, David's wife, was the murderer. At 39 years old, Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom dedicated to their 2 teenage children. She was also active in her church and frequently volunteered at local events. In short, she was the perfect woman. However, her life took a dark turn when she discovered David's numerous affairs and his involvement in filming adult movies at the kindergarten where he worked. Jennifer's world shattered further when she found out about the underground fight ring where David forced the children he cared for to fight. Fueled by anger and betrayal, Jennifer decided to stop David's double life. Seeing herself as a protector, she aimed to save the children from further harm. On the evening of June 30, 2017, Jennifer confronted David at the kindergarten playground. She shot him twice with a 9mm gun and then gouged out his eyes with a knife, a symbolic act of her disgust and anger. She believed that by doing this, she was saving the children and ending David's terrible actions. Detectives worked tirelessly to piece everything together. They found traces of gunpowder on Jennifer's clothes and discovered a 9mm gun hidden in their garage. The gun matched the bullets found in David's body. Additionally, phone records revealed Jennifer had uncovered David's secret activities through text messages and emails she accessed. On June 15, at 3 p.m., the police arrived at the Dane residence to arrest Jennifer. It was a tense and emotional scene, but Jennifer remained calm and did not resist arrest. She appeared almost relieved that her ordeal was finally over. Detective Lopez, known for her compassionate approach, explained the charges to Jennifer, who listened quietly. The news of Jennifer's arrest shocked the community. David's double life and the truth about the kindergarten fight ring left many parents horrified. When Jennifer was taken into custody, David's family had mixed reactions. Some were angry and felt betrayed by Jennifer, while others were sympathetic, understanding the rage and horror she must have felt. Jennifer's arrest brought a sense of closure to the investigation. The detectives knew they had uncovered the full truth and brought the responsible person to justice. The case highlighted the importance of vigilance and the need to protect the innocent from harm. The trial of Jennifer Dane for the murder of her husband, David Dane, began on September 10, 2018. The courtroom was packed with reporters from local news outlets such as the Tampa Bay Times and WFLA News Channel 8. The case attracted considerable attention because of the shocking crime and the revelations about David's double life. The prosecution was led by Assistant State Attorney Marquez, a 50-year-old known for his thorough approach and commanding presence in the courtroom. In his opening statement, Hayes depicted Jennifer as a wife who felt deeply betrayed and enraged by her husband's infidelity and hidden activities. He described how Jennifer uncovered David's affairs and his involvement in the underground fighting ring. Hayes argued that Jennifer had carefully planned the murder, shooting David and then gouging out his eyes to make a statement. The defense attorney, Clara Mitchell, a 45-year-old known for her passionate advocacy, argued that Jennifer was a devoted wife and mother driven to the edge by her husband's betrayal. Mitchell highlighted Jennifer's community involvement and commitment to her family. She pointed out that Jennifer had no history of violence and suggested that the real killer might be one of David's associates from the fighting ring or someone from his numerous affairs. The trial lasted for 3 weeks. Witnesses, including Carla Rodriguez and Lara Wachter, provided details about David's complex life. The prosecution presented evidence such as shell casings found at the scene and Jennifer's text messages revealing her anger, and distress. Throughout the trial, the Dane family's emotions were intense. Emily and Jacob, David and Jennifer's teenage children, were frequently seen in the courtroom, looking heartbroken. Friends and neighbors who had known the Danes for years found it difficult to reconcile the loving family they once knew with the dark secrets that were coming to light. On October 2, 2018, the jury delivered their verdict. Jennifer Dane was found guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom fell silent as the judge announced the sentence: life in prison without the possibility of parole. Jennifer's face remained pale and expressionless, showing little reaction. The verdict had a deep impact. While David's family and friends felt a sense of relief that justice had been served, there was also a profound sense of loss and sadness. The Tampa community struggled to come to terms with the fact that a cherished teacher and local figure had lived a double life and met such a tragic end. After Jennifer Dane was sentenced to life in prison, the community attempted to return to normal. However, the shock of David Dane's murder and the revelations about his hidden life had a lasting effect on everyone involved. Jennifer Dane began serving her life sentence at Florida State Prison. She continued to assert her innocence, frequently writing letters to her children, Emily and Jacob, who were struggling with the loss of both parents. Despite her conviction, Jennifer received ongoing support from her church and some friends who believed she had been driven to extreme actions by David's betrayal. Emily, 17, and Jacob, 15, went to live with their maternal grandparents. They made efforts to move forward, but the trauma from their father's death and their mother's imprisonment had a profound impact on them. Both received counseling and support from their school, Jefferson High, to help them deal with the loss. They found comfort in their favorite activities. Emily threw herself into her art, while Jacob focused on soccer. Detective John Mercer and his team went back to their usual work, but the Dane case stayed with them. The investigation was one of the most complex of Mercer's career. He felt a blend of satisfaction and sadness, knowing they had solved the case, but at the cost of a family's destruction. Lara Wachter, the young woman involved with David, left Tampa and moved away. The intense media attention and public scrutiny made it impossible for her to stay. She moved to Orlando, where she began anew, working at a different coffee shop and taking classes at a community college. Although Lara was still troubled by her link to the case, she was determined to create a fresh start for herself. Jordan Alarcon Perico, the father who had confronted David about the underground fighting ring, went back to his job as a construction worker. He concentrated on giving his son a stable life while the boy attended Sunny Days kindergarten. Jordan became more engaged in his son's education and activities, making sure his child was safe and content. The staff and students at Sunny Days kindergarten found it hard to move on from the tragedy that had happened on their playground. The school brought in counselors to help both the children and teachers cope with their grief and fear. Gradually, the sounds of children playing returned to the playground, but the memory of David Dane's murder remained. The Tampa community, though stunned by the events, came together in support. Local organizations organized fundraisers to help the Dane children and raise awareness about domestic violence and mental health. While life gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy, the lessons learned from the Dane case stayed with everyone. The story of David Dane serves as a somber reminder of the hidden complexities that can lie behind outwardly perfect lives. His double life ended in violence, leaving a deep mark on his family and community. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Truthful Crimes. Stay with us for more stories that explore the darker aspects of human nature.